there's hard questions that both of these organizations have to answer.
Yeah, Spero, I completely agree, right? And the Ravens are not the type of organization that likes. They're a lot like the Steelers in that way. They don't like to make big, bold moves. They value loyalty, they value continuity, but this is shaping up to be a kind of dramatic failure if they don't, again, turn it around now. Like, this is it. This is sort of the last stop. Like, this was a team that wasn't supposed to be good, was supposed to be elevating to winning the Super Bowl this year and was supposed to have that caliber of a roster. And while, yes, they've dealt with injuries, it's largely just been disappointment. So I agree with you. I think this is a Ravens team that, unless it clicks now, they are going to have to make some serious decisions this offseason.
Yeah, I think when you go all in the way the Ravens have, and you miss to such a level, and again, I don't want to bury them yet. We've seen really crazy things happen, and their path, I don't think, is as clearly, obviously, not as treacherous as it is for the Bengals. So they could very conceivably still get in, but if they miss the playoffs, that leaves such a mark that I think you almost have to kind of reevaluate things. They got a ton of guys, I think, who are up for contracts. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, I think if they miss the playoffs, and by the way, how crazy would it be to have an NFL postseason without both the Ravens and Kansas City? I mean, that is a very good chance that happens. So, we'll wait to see what it's going to look like. But man, it's just crazy to even ponder, to even have the conversation that the Ravens could be on the outside looking in here in 4 or 5 weeks.
Spero, I don't know how you are, but I swear to God, like they're going to tell me in 2 weeks that the Chiefs have been eliminated from postseason contention, and I'm still going to be like, yeah, but I can't rule them out from winning the Super Bowl. Like, I just
I'm with you.
I don't know what it is. I can't do it.
But you know what? That's what makes this league so, I think, so unique and different than the NBA and different from MLB, is that you can have a year where all the heavy favorites are on the outside looking in, and you got new potential contenders. I mean, it's just this. That's why the NFL is what it is.
He is Spero Dedes, and of course he will be on the call on Sunday as the Ravens and Bengals square off in Cincinnati. Spero, what else is ahead for you? Do you know?
We have, oh gosh, my brain is mush. I have a bunch of college basketball. It's that time of year where basketball starts to overlap with football, so it's going to get crazy. We have Cincinnati and Miami the week after this, and then we don't know. So we're at the time of year where CBS basically tells us our assignment's like a week out. Yeah, so we're all on pins and needles.
When the game is going to be.
Exactly.
You
got all that extra layer of flexing and all that good stuff. So fun time of year for sure.
Spero, I really appreciate taking the time for us this morning, man. Enjoy the game Sunday. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Glenn. Happy holidays. I appreciate it.
Very same to you, my friend. Spero Dedes with us here on GCR. Appreciate him taking the time for us. All right. When we come back in, some Ravens news. I don't know if we call it. It's not unexpected, but I don't know. We'll talk about it. Some Ravens news in the contract department that we'll discuss when we come back in as we continue along on Glenn Clark Radio. Get in the game with Volo Sports. With over 15 sports to choose from, join a league or grab a Volo membership for discounted play, free daily pickups, fitness classes, and exclusive events. But the best part? A portion of every league fee helps the Volo Kids Foundation provide free sports to over 5,000 kids across Baltimore City each year. Don't miss out. Early pricing for the winter season ends December 12th. Final registration deadline is January 15th. Sign up now at volosports.com/Baltimore.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll drop 25 lucky cash winners, but only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website costasin.com for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
If you missed Stan the Fan Charles and Luke Jackson talking about Pete Alonso yesterday, you can find it right now, facebook.com/PressBoxSports, youtube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan's shows are brought to you by the Costas Inn and the new Costas Inn in Timonium. The Baltimore Ravens is first reported by Jeff Zrebiec of The Athletic. The Ravens have extended defensive tackle Travis Jones. 3-year deal. Adam Schefter comes in with the monetary numbers on the contract for Travis Jones. Says 3 years, $40.5 million. There it is from Ian Rappaport. 3 years, $40.5 million. It keeps him in Baltimore through the 2028 season. Apparently there was a bunch of weird stuff going on, as Jeff Zrebiec laid out today on Twitter. I'll just read these. This is again from Jeff. The Ravens have reached an agreement with the blah, blah, blah. All right, let me get to the next one. Some context to Travis Jones' deal. He's playing on the 4th year of his rookie contract, but like Rashad Bateman's situation in 2024, Jones didn't get an accrued season as a rookie because of an issue with the CBA. So Jones was on track to only be a restricted free agent after this season. The NFLPA filed a grievance against the NFL on Jones' behalf. The hearing was scheduled for today. Jones' agent, Jared Fox, and the Ravens met before the hearing and hammered out an extension. Ravens got aggressive to get a deal done and make sure Jones was content with the contract. If Jones had won the grievance, he would have been an unrestricted free agent in March. If he lost, he would have been a restricted free agent and likely headed for the second-round $6 million tender. That's a moot point now, and Jones, who the coaching staff loves, is signed through 2028. And Travis Jones has played well. He's looked good, so I think we're all good with that. I think there's a couple of ramifications that we'd ask about. The first one would be, does this tell us anything about Nnamdi Madubuike's situation? I'm inclined to say not specifically, because I do think the Ravens would want to do a deal with Travis Jones whether or not Nnamdi Madubuike was playing. Now, you could say, hey, that's an awful lot of money to tie up along the defensive line, and that'll get to the next point. But this is what the Ravens do. Remember, you need multiple. You can't only have one defensive tackle on your team. So, while I know we often say you can only pay like one guy per position, I don't think this means that they know. Now, it might be two different things. It might be they know and I just don't think it's they know because. Like, maybe the Ravens do know that Nnamdi Madubuike is not playing football next year, may never play football again. The fact that John Harbaugh still hasn't brought it up, I get why we have got a lot of questions. By the way, the answer might be that Nnamdi Madubuike is going through aggressive medical, work to try to figure out if there is a path forward for him to play football. I don't know. But my gut tells me they would have wanted to do this whether or not Nnamdi Madubuike was on the field. Now, the question is, somebody would say, okay, but he doesn't rush the passer. And that would make you say, can you really afford to spend money on both Nnamdi Madubuike and Travis Jones and not have edge rush figured out at all? As the Ravens will once again go into an offseason with utter question marks in the edge rush department. Nothing stabilized. And that's a fair question. And that might be what makes you think maybe this is something they're only doing because they know Nnamdi Madubuike can't play, and perhaps if Nnamdi Madubuike was healthy, maybe they'd be more inclined to let Travis Jones walk and spend money on the edge rush. But as we constantly say, that's not the way the Ravens typically do business. Next question might be, is it definitely going to be Eric DeCosta that's doing the business? And as I said, if the Ravens bottom out, they lose out. I don't know how anybody survives. But it's just still such an un-Ravens-like thing to do that I'm not telling you I think that. I'm saying in my world, you go 0-6 to wrap up the season.
Is that the only scenario where clean house?
It's not the only scenario. Like somebody would say, why is 1-5 really all that different than 0-6? And I would say, it's not. It's not. Like anything where you just fall the F apart down the stretch in the most important games, that's where I'm seriously thinking about making those types of changes. I don't know. Travis Jones. Again, as a football player, I'm good with Travis Jones. There have been moments where he's looked unbelievable. There was one game earlier this year where he was the best player on the field, and I can't remember what game it was now off the top of my head. But I get it. Right? Somebody is going to say the Ravens have a problem where they spend all of their money on everything other than edge rushers. And they need to prioritize that.
This game against the Vikings.
The Vikings.
Where he had
dominant.
Yeah,
he was just an ass kicker in that game. I can't tell you you're wrong. I can't tell you you're wrong to say that the Ravens have a problem where they've never prioritized edge rushes. They've prioritized seemingly every other part of the defense. Now, some of those players are really, I'm certainly not giving up on Kyle Hamilton. I'm encouraged. We did this as part of the new episode of Rita and Glenn, which is available, youtube.com/@RitaandGlenn. In our greatest hits, we put it up there as well, the audio version. How many foundational pieces are there? There's 2 truly special players on this team. 2. That's it. Then how many foundational pieces are there? I'm okay with Travis Jones being considered a foundational piece. I think Nate Wiggins and Malachi Starks are also foundational pieces. Like, still Zay Flowers, still probably Roger Rosengarten offensively are foundational pieces, and Mark Andrews is because they decided he is, right? They don't have a foundational edge rusher, and that's a problem. It's just a massive problem. So that's a separate conversation than just looking at Travis Jones. Good with it. They're doing everything but spending money on the edge rush. I get why, but those guys aren't available today. Travis Jones was. They don't have anybody on the roster to give a contract to because none of them are good. Let's get back into some Pete Alonso conversation this morning. As yes, the big news for the first time ever, the Orioles sign an outside free agent to a 9-figure deal. Joining us now to tell us a little bit more about the Polar Bear, the newest Baltimore Oriole. He covers the Mets for MLB.com, does a lot of TV as well. You'll see him on MLB Network and SNY up in New York. He is Anthony DiComo, and he's with us here on GCR. Anthony, it's Glenn in Baltimore. Thank you so much for taking the time for us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Hi, Glenn. Yeah, happy to be on.
Anthony, can you take me through? I know that people in New York are despondent about this. There is always look, everything down here, I promise you, is overwhelmingly positive, right? Like, we're ready to throw a parade in Baltimore. But someone will inevitably ask, why wouldn't the Mets have swooped in? Why would the Mets be willing to let Pete Alonso walk for what doesn't seem to be an outrageous type of contract? Can you give us any insight?
Yeah, it's a great question because I think a lot of people in New York are asking that very same question today. You are talking about the Mets, and these aren't your father's Mets. These are Steve Cohen's Mets. He's one of the richest men in the world. He's worth $17+ billion. Just 1 year ago, he signed Juan Soto to the richest contract in professional sports history, which was 4 or 5 times the amount of what Pete Alonso just got. And then you look at everything else on paper, Pete Alonso being one of the most popular players of this generation for the Mets, a Mets franchise that has historically had a lot of trouble retaining their own players. Outside of David Wright, pretty much every significant player who's ever come through here has spent a huge chunk of his career somewhere else. So there were a ton of reasons why it made sense for the Mets to extend for David Wright. The best answer I can give you as to why they didn't is because this front office under David Stearns, since David Stearns took over a few years ago, has become the archetype of the disciplined, new age. We're going to find values. We're not going to overpay for just every free agent who comes around. We're not going to let emotions come into play.
Okay.
And so the very basic answer is that the Mets did not think Pete Alonso was worth $155 million.
Okay.
And when the bidding started getting to a level where it seemed obvious he was going to get that amount of money, they said, we're good. They didn't even make Pete Alonso an offer. So it was, I think, shocking to a lot of people around Flushing because of everything Pete Alonso meant and still does mean to the franchise. But the front office doesn't care. The front office does not take fan emotion into account. All they want to do is find the best players they can for the best values that they can, despite the fact that this is a $300 million plus payroll and has been for several years now. And they're not going to let emotion or fan reaction or any of that stuff get in the way. It was a clear line in the sand that the Mets drew with Pete Alonso, and they refused to cross it.
Is there any reason from a baseball perspective, anything that we've seen? Because everything about Pete Alonso to me says he is still very much the absolute definition of a middle-of-the-order power bat. And I have no reason to think that, like, he's about to fall off a cliff in that department. Is there anything that you've seen that would make you concerned? And look, somebody could say, hey, you never know how somebody's going to be when they're 35 or 36. But, my God, if the Orioles get 4 really good years and one that's not great, we'll live with that down here. Anything that would make you think he's not going to be that guy for the next at least 3 to 4 years?
No, not really. I think the argument against Pete Alonso is that he's a very one-dimensional player. Mm-hmm. He is a right-handed power hitter who plays first base and doesn't play it defensively very well. So you look at that and you look at $155 million for a player whose one skill is he's going to bash a lot of home runs, and he's going to do that from the right side of the plate. He's probably not going to carry a very high batting average. For someone who hits as many home runs as he does, it's not like he's walking 100+ times a year. He's not coming close to that. He strikes out a lot. Again, his skill is hitting the ball really far and doing it 30 to 40 times a year. And I think if you look at that and you say, okay, if he's not providing value in any other area, then all of a sudden as he starts to get into this aging curve, which most players do in their early 30s, and Pete Alonso just turned 31, then if those 40 homer seasons start becoming 30 homer seasons, and then maybe start becoming like a 28 homer season somewhere in there, all of a sudden he's not all that valuable. The value that he gave to you goes away. So that is the absolute pessimistic argument on Pete Alonso. I think I agree with your assessment that this is a guy who has proven extremely durable. He's played in 162 the past 2 years, Mets all-time consecutive games played leader. The injuries that he's had have been like freak hit by pitch type things. So while that will also go away at some point in his 30s because nobody stays fully healthy, into their mid-30s, I think you can, if you want to bet on a guy to play in 150+ games, to hit 30, 35, maybe 40-plus home runs. Like, he's as good a bet as anyone in baseball going forward, at least for the next couple of years. So I agree with your assessment. I think he's an elite power hitter who's proven that. And, you look at that ballpark down there in Camden Yards, it's hard not to lick your chops a little bit thinking about the numbers that Pete Alonso could potentially put up.
Anthony DiComo covers the Mets for MLB.com. He is with us here on GCR. Anthony, I wonder, you bring up one-dimensional, and look, there's no doubt that that's true. That said, it was interesting to me. I don't think I did realize that Pete Alonso had hit 272 last year. And, while he didn't hit, 45 home runs, he still hit 38 home runs. Did something change in Pete Alonso that he was a little bit more productive overall as a hitter? Is that an anomaly because the 2 seasons before that he didn't hit like that? Like, what do you make of just sheerly the fact that he was hitting a little bit more than just home runs?
Yeah, I don't think it's an anomaly because Pete Alonso now has 7 seasons in the big leagues, and he has hit 260 or better in 4 of them. Now, he also bottomed out at 217 a couple of years ago. So the range of outcomes with him is high. Pete Alonso's big thing for his entire career has been his plate discipline. When he's chasing balls outside the strike zone, he can become, at times, very easy to pitch to. He can be a very streaky hitter. When he's not, and he's choosing the right pitches to hit, it manifests itself not just in the home runs, because he'll run into home runs even when he's not going well, but it manifests itself in, they're giving me a pitcher's pitch on the outer half, I'm going to slice that into right field for a single. And there have been years, last year being one of them, where Pete Alonso was really good at hitting those opposite field singles. A few years back in 2022, he hit 271, basically the same year he had last year. And he was really good at hitting those opposite field singles that year. It hasn't always come easily or naturally for Pete Alonso, but if you want to find that little added value, because again, this isn't a guy who's going to walk 100 times a year. This isn't a guy who's going to be an absolute on-base machine.
Right.
Where he gets in those better sequences is when he's able to see the ball well, understands he's getting a pitch he can't homer on, and hit it to the opposite field for a single. At his best, at his hottest streaks, he's doing that with regularity.
Clubhouse. I know you talk about him being a beloved figure up there, but what are the Orioles? If one of the things that we talked about with this group is, that when they've had the Robinson Chirinoses of the world and guys that aren't nearly as accomplished as Pete Alonso is, it's done wonders for this young group, and they kind of were missing that a year ago. What might Pete Alonso be in this clubhouse?
Yeah, Pete Alonso is an interesting cat, no doubt about it. And I think part of the reason why he resonated with Mets fans when he came into the league in 2019 was not just because he hit a franchise rookie or major league rookie record, 53 homers that year, and did all these amazing things on the field, won the home run derby. Like, that stuff was all great, obviously, and a huge part of why fans liked him. But it was also his personality, because he was just the best way to describe him is just sort of this doofy guy who, in a sport, in an age when athletes tend to be very buttoned up, he was looser with his personality. He let people see who he was. He let people in. He was a little dorky, and I think that resonated with people. Funnily enough, I think around the league, Pete Alonso, I wouldn't say has a bad reputation, but has a reputation of, like, people throwing their arms up in the air going, like, this guy, come on. Like because he's just such a unique character, and he says stupid things sometimes, and he'll go and he'll give interviews that are just off the wall. So I think he's the type of guy that when he's on the other side, you're like, what is this guy's problem? But then when he's on your side, you're like, oh, that's just Pete. And I think you're going to get a lot of that. He really does mean well in terms of the leadership and in terms of, trying to get guys to rally around things in the clubhouse, winning, obviously. And I think you're going to see more of that. And I'm actually interested to see as Pete Alonso ages now, comes into a new clubhouse where he doesn't know anyone, gets away from that core of guys that he came up with, because he was never the oldest guy in the room in Queens. He was never the guy that people had to look on for leadership. He provided it in little places where he could, but they always had veterans around him, whether that was Francisco Lindor, whether that was Brandon Nimmo, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander coming through a few years ago. Like, Pete Alonso never needed to be that guy. He was always supplementary. Then you look at him coming to a place like Baltimore. At his age, now he has a chance to sort of be one of those guys in a room like the Orioles clubhouse. So I'll be interested to see how that all unfolds.
Anthony, while I have you, I'd be remiss to not ask you something about Ryan Helsley, who the Orioles had previously acquired this offseason. And obviously, before he arrived in New York, Ryan Helsley was one of the best relievers in baseball for a few seasons, but it was a disaster. I know you, like a few, attempted to write about what happened. What do you make of it? What do you make of the possibility that he might be fixed in Baltimore? Like, how do you conceivably explain this sort of duality of Ryan Helsley?
Yeah, how I can explain it is that it was about 10 really bad innings at the worst possible time, because that's truly all it was. And Ryan Helsley was tipping his pitches. There's no doubt about that, and that was a huge part of his troubles. But if you look at the back of his baseball card, like you said, he's been really, really good for a long time. He comes over to Queens in a big, splashy trade deadline deal and has a few good outings, then immediately starts going in the rut. And it was 16 earned runs over 9 2/3 innings. Like, that was when he bottomed out. That was when he was tipping pitches. And while I wouldn't say he fully fixed it, he did end the year with 6 straight scoreless appearances. He was looking like he was on a pretty good run, and maybe it was going to be able to help them if the Mets had made the playoffs, which they didn't. But even while he was getting rocked out there, the quality of the stuff was there. The pitch shapes were, what they've always been for Ryan Helsley. So assuming he, now with an offseason under his belt, to really sort of internalize some of the muscle memory of the things he was doing and needed to do to avoid the pitch tipping, like, I see no reason why he can't go back to being a dominant back-end leverage type. Again, he's got a much longer track record of being that guy than of not being that guy. And, I think if he had come to the Mets in a free agent deal and just had a bad 9 2/3 innings in April, it would look a lot different. It was because he came over the trade deadline, immediately started failing, and didn't have enough time to make up for it, that, that taste is the one that lingers in your mouth.
Well, it sounds encouraging that the Orioles might have the right version of Ryan Helsley, the guy that we had seen before then. Anthony DiComo, we are going to direct people. We'll retweet the story that you wrote about the end of the Pete Alonso era. I know it's a busy week for everybody in baseball, so I really appreciate you taking the time out for us. Anthony DiComo on Twitter is how you can follow him. Anything else we can plug for you, man?
That's the beauty of it. I've got my book, The Captain with David Wright, came out a few years ago, if anyone is a David Wright fan down there in Baltimore. But, you can find me at MLB.com and, MLB Networks, SNY on TV. So
awesome.
Appreciate you guys.
Anthony, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Anthony DiComo, MLB.com, with us here on GCR. It's interesting, as he did write about that thought in New York, that, like, the Mets are just operating now as and what, frankly, we believe the Mike Elias thought process was with the Orioles, the Pythagorean model, right? Where it's just, we've done our math. This is what X player is worth. And if the cost of getting that player is more than that, then we are not paying it. Like, that's something that resonates, and I can understand that it might not mean that Pete Alonso, because our complaint was that the Orioles were deciding what the value of a player was when the market is what actually dictates what the value's player. And I think part of the reason why we're encouraged about the Pete Alonso thing is that whatever maybe the Orioles, their model says Pete Alonso is absolutely, he's worth every penny of $31 million every year. But maybe that's not what their model says. Maybe their model says he's really worth $25 million a year. What's encouraging to us is that they were willing to pay the price it required and that the market dictated the player was worth and didn't say, no, that's beyond what our model says he's worth. And we'll never know that. Like, Mike Elias is never going to come out and say, yeah, this is tough because we really only thought he was worth $20 million a year, so that's never going to happen. But what Anthony DiComo is explaining that happened in New York, we get. We've been there. The Orioles said, we like Anthony Santander, but we like him at this number, not at this number. And so if somebody's willing to pay this number, that's not what we think he's worth. And again, Santander we always bring up, and it's somebody said, that's a bad example. He wasn't worth that this year. I don't know what Anthony Santander ultimately is going to do as a Blue Jay. I don't know. He got hurt this year. It's difficult to figure that out. Maybe in the end, the Orioles will look brilliant for that. But it didn't change the fact that they didn't replace Anthony Santander last year. Even if they're right about him, it didn't change the reality of that was a miserable failure for a year. Hopefully, now with Pete Alonso, that won't be the case moving forward. So it might not be that the Mets think that Pete Alonso is on the downslide of his career, or it just might be that the Mets, they've decided to take on post-Juan Soto doing this type of math. And that's where they're at. We continue along here on a Thursday edition of GCR. Am I supposed to be seeing Ken? Is this an old man Zalis thing where... Oh, there he is.
I was waiting for you to stop yapping with the guy that doesn't like Pete Alonso in New York.
He does. He greatly likes Pete Alonso in New York. He's saying the GM of the team has just decided that they're not going to pay anymore. Ken Zalis, for better or for worse, is with us. Good. I guess it's good afternoon now. Good afternoon, old man Zalis.
It is good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm great.
The Orioles got Pete Alonso. What else? What else could you want in the world?
Let's see what else they do. But that
go get some pictures.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I guess we finally got to the point where, the owner's saying something that he meant. Because that's a very un-Orioles contract.
It's very un-Orioles like.
He said he has no limits. So let's see what else they do. But so far so good this off season, right?
100%. There is no way to have a negative opinion whatsoever about the Orioles.
There's a way. I'm sure there are people in Baltimore.
But they're posers. They're internet posers. They want
loving that this is bad for the.
They want attention. They desperately have. Their mother didn't love them enough or something. I don't know what it is. They just want attention. There is no.
I had to knock you for a half a second yesterday.
About what? What did I say?
What else are they gonna do?
I talked about how good it was.
Can we be happy?
I talked about how good it was, and then I said, and I'd like some more. Yeah.
Let's be happy.
But
Can we have a 1 hour roll?
I literally said I'm happy. Now I'd like to be happy again.
I'd like to be happy again too, but let's be happy in the moment for a second.
It'd be one thing if I was like, this doesn't matter until the Orioles get pitching. Not at all. It matters significantly.
I can't wait to see what they do. I can't wait to see what they do for here. Not necessarily, I'm still expecting a pitcher, but
they better get some pitching.
They have some trades to make.
Yeah, I mean they do. But unfortunately, what do you think you're trading Ryan Mountcastle? You're going to get.
I don't know.
We might not get you back for Ryan Mountcastle.
Well, people look beyond last year.
No.
I mean, if they sign a pitcher, I think a Povich Mayo package somewhere may be enticing.
I think Kobe Mayo is absolutely. He doesn't have to be dealt, but he damn near has to be dealt. There's just.
Well, he or Mountcastle can't be on the team next year.
Correct, but Mountcastle could just kick rocks. I mean, and I hate saying that. I don't want to be this negative towards Ryan Mountcastle.
Why are you being so negative? What did he ever do to you?
He didn't.
Come on, I know. We could do this all day. We got to make picks because I have 25 minutes now.
Oh, well, it'd be nice if somebody had told me that.
Sorry, I did forget to tell you.
I told somebody.
You did tell me.
I don't know who.
He did tell me. I forgot to forward that.
All right, here we go. Let's make some picks for this week. Picks are brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Best place to watch every big game, every big fight is inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel. Never pay pay-per-view prices. Instead, watch the fights for free. Watch all the big games. Just steps away from the FanDuel Sportsbook. 100-foot media wall. Great food and drink specials. Live Casino and Hotels, Sports and Social. Griffin Bass on the heels of an 8-1 last week. Ken Zalis on the heels of an 8-1 last week. Griffin moves into a tie for first place. KZ all the way from power bottom just a couple of weeks ago to being just 5 games out of first place. with still a
Closer
long,
to the top than the bottom
that is
now.
wild.
What a
He's
comeback.
tied with Andrew Stecker for 4th, John and Little Rock between them. So it's James and Griffin tied at the top of the table. John and Little Rock 4 games back. Andrew and KZ 5 games back. Myself and Proctor 6 games back. Jeremy 7 games back. Ryan and Joe Serpico 8 games back. Paul Valley 11 games off the pace. Kyle Ottenheimer, our new power bottom, 12 games back. Here we go. This only one college game this week, and then 8 NFL games. Yeah, believe it or not, we didn't do the LA Bowl. You can do that in our Bowl Pick'em, which some of you never got into. And I'm not going to scream about it much more because I think we're going to be filled. But some of you that are in our group that didn't get in, you're going to get the stink eye from me. It's going to happen. I'm not pleased. If you're in our group and you're supposed to be part of our family, these are the types of things that we do together as a family. This is what families do. They fight like hell. We hate each other, and then we lift each other up. So I'm going to be mad at you. That's the way it's going to go. Now, not mad at Ken. Not about this. Other things, maybe. Am I playing Mike Evans if he plays this week?
Yeah, I'm going to roll the dice on him.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that passing game's been missing a lot. I mean, as always, it depends on who you're sitting for him. But if you're sitting,
it would be either Jawan Jennings, Christian Watson, or Cortland Sutton.
You know,
I never have full faith in the Broncos. Though.
I know
That's my issue.
You don't like Sutton, so for you, I'm going to tell you to play him over Sutton.
Yeah.
I may play him over Jennings this week, but yeah, I can play him over Jennings or Sutton in your case.
All right, very good. Now, let's start.
America's game at M&T Bank Stadium. Army versus Navy, and Navy laying 6.5. 6.5 point favorites for the midshipmen here. Coming off a 9-win. Well, this is still part of the regular season technically, but yeah, 9-2.
I feel like
Navy is.
I feel like Army was favored by something like this a year ago, and I was like, she goes to show what you know. Army Navy is never that type of game. It's always a close game.
The Navy won pretty dominantly last year.
They
right?
did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to do that, right? I want to step in and say you got to pick Army here because it's just too many points. But Army's just been kind of weird this year. Like they figured out ways to win games, but they have just not been all that impressive. Hell, I'm not going down picking against Navy. Navy.
6.5 in this game.
It's a lot. I agree.
It's like ludicrous. It's never the way we expect it to turn out. It's never a blowout unless it's the underdog doing the blowing out because we're expecting a close game. But I'm with you. I'm not going down with the ship, as it were. I'll take
KZ thought Navy was going to fall apart down the stretch.
I thought they were.
He thought
did.
They were going to lose
right for
5 games.
I did.
Wow. Come on.
What bowl were they going to?
No faith. The Liberty Bowl. They're playing Cincy. Is that right?
Yes,
or Liberty.
that's correct.
Yes,
Cincinnati.
The Liberty Bowl. They're playing Cincy in the Liberty Bowl. Yes.
So who's in the military bowl?
ECU and Pitt. Yeah.
There you go.
You don't think I've been doing my research?
Apparently, Griffin.
Name a bowl.
Yeah, Griffin wants to believe that he can win this bowl. He thinks he's got the upper hand in the bowl pick'em.
I assure you, I do not.
Oh, I definitely do not.
I did my picks within 30 seconds.
Yep.
Navy hasn't won. They haven't won this game back-to-back years since 2015 and 2016, and I feel like I'm with you guys. It's got to change. Can they win it by a touchdown? I also am pretty confident that they can do that. I've been on them all season, obviously, and I'm obviously not going to start going against Navy now. So I will take the mids. This is going to be an irrelevant pick for us. Everyone. Everyone.
Wow, that is stunning.
Backing the Navy.
That is really stunning.
Yes.
Actually.
It is a
with a
12 for
6.5
12.
point line. That's crazy.
It is a little surprising. But yeah, no one backing Army. To tonight, Thursday Night Football, we have the Buccaneers, the aforementioned Buccaneers, getting Mike Evans back, among others. Jalen McMillan is back as well. They are hosting the Atlanta Falcons, and Tampa is laying 4.5, hosting Atlanta.
Man, how can you? There's nothing to like about Atlanta. I know the Buccaneers have been broken the last couple of weeks. I do think Mike Evans changes some of that. God, Atlanta's not the team. Bucks.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I like there. It's really crazy because I like parts of Atlanta, but not enough parts. I think the Bucks get right.
Yeah, I don't love much about Atlanta either, and I like Baker, but I think the beauty of Baker is that he's a really good underdog, and we like rooting for Baker when he's an underdog. Because when Baker is a favorite, the stat I have is he's 22-35 against the spread as a favorite. I'm not confident is Mike Evans gonna be Mike Evans when he comes back? I'm not sure if they're rushing him back here because they need. Suddenly they are in a division race as well to try and make the playoffs. It feels weird. It's Thursday night. I'm going to take Atlanta getting 4.5 points. So I will take the Falcons for really no good reason.
Just real quick for the record, Mike Evans did practice last week and didn't play in the game. So it's not like he just got activated for this week.
Okay.
For those playing at home.
I'm glad the league I have Mike Evans in. I have a bye, so I'm very happy that I can watch for a week. And then he gets 10 days off. But I will take the Falcons here. Most of us, it looks like, are on the Bucks here. I'm not alone on the Falcons. So Andrew Stecca, Jeremy Kahn on Atlanta, and, Kyle Ottenheimer on the Falcons as well. So,
but he also might be doing the bit where it's so bad that he just picks against himself. I've done that a few times over the years.
You think Kyle's thinking like that?
I decided what my pick was, and then I picked against me.
Kyle, I know I said Paul normally gets in last. Kyle actually got in last today, so I'm not sure how much thought process he did put into his picks. So I'm not. That
might
doesn't make me feel much
some
better.
things about the guys at the bottom of the table.
Might
explain some things.
To Sunday now. Again, lots of NFL. We're doing lots of NFL games this week. Chargers are heading to Kansas City. Chiefs are laying 5 points against the Chargers, who are coming off a big Monday night win.
I mean, what the F? This is the type of thing where the line seems so insane that you have to take the Chiefs, right? That's my thing. This line is so batshit that how do you not take the Chiefs? And this is where I would say, so give me the Chargers. I really don't know what to do with this. I have no idea. Chargers, I can't do it. This is crazy.
So I've been kind of our little group here, been the one picking against the Chiefs every single week because I've been convinced that they are not a good football team, and they are not. But now we're getting into we're getting 5 points at home range, right?
Mm-hmm. No, not getting. Giving.
We're giving 5
They're
points?
They're 5-point favorites.
They're 5-point favorites. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I'm going to take KC. I don't know why.
No, that's what you should do.
The line stinks.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense why they should be a 5-point favorite over anybody. So
line made line makes no sense. Line didn't make any sense on Sunday night either when they were taking on the Texans and they were favorites against Houston. Herbert did not. He didn't look good. His hand didn't look good on Monday. This is like the first time in 5, 6, 7 years we haven't trusted the Chiefs here. So I'm gonna take the Chargers as well, even though the line doesn't make any sense at all, and they are begging us, or I guess I don't know. They're telling us to take. I don't know what they're telling us. I'm taking the Chargers. They're getting points, and they look like the better football team. So I will take the Chargers here. KZ not alone on Kansas City. He gets Andrew Stecca and Jeremy Kahn and James Revere on his side. So James and I going head-to-head on that. Actually, James and I going head-to-head on each of the first two picks.
How about that?
Buffalo at New England. Also 1 o'clock on CBS. The Bills are going into New England and laying 1.5 points.
Bills.
Yeah, the one thing the Bills have done is they've beaten good teams. I think New England's a good team. The line is a pick 'em, basically, so I'll take the Bills as well.
Again, another one that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
We got to speed it up. Ken doesn't have much time.
Just because the Patriots have been good. I think the Ravens are going to have to snap an 11-game Patriots win streak next week. Vrabel 6-0 straight up, 6-0 against the spread off of a bye week. I'll take the Patriots at home. We're split on this one, 6-6. You both on Buffalo, Andrew Stecca, John in Little Rock, Paul Valley and Ryan Shell on the Buffalo Bills as well. 425 win.
I don't love that, but
Green Bay at Denver, and the Packers going into Mile High, laying 2.5.
The Packers are definitively the better team here. Packers.
You're going into Mile High. I don't know why everybody hates the Denver Broncos, but I'm going to take the Denver Broncos.
Because they only play football for like a few minutes, and then they're good.
But it's a close enough game. I like Denver.
I agree. I don't trust Denver. I don't want to say they're frauds, but like I don't definitely trust Green Bay more than them, which is another reason I feel like this line. I feel like Green Bay should almost be larger favorites. I guess.
No, they don't deserve to be larger favorites.
Broncos are getting points at home. Packers are 1-7 all time at Denver.
How about that?
I'll take the Broncos at home. We are once again split here. I think most of us on Denver. Andrew Stadka, Glenn on Green Bay, as is Proctor and Kyle and Paul Valley, both on Green Bay as well. So you got those two. Detroit at L.A., the Rams hosting the Lions, and the Lions are getting 5.5 going into Los Angeles.
I'm a sucker. I'm just going to take the points here, Lions.
I think I did the same thing. I don't remember which way I went here, but I'm going to take the points here too with the Lions.
I'm taking the points as well. Lions feels like they keep getting more and more banged up every week, like they lose someone on defense every week. But I'll take Goff indoors. He's 17-5 as an underdog of 3 or more with Detroit. So sure, I'll do it. I'll take the Lions getting points going into L.A. Most of us on Detroit. Jeremy Kahn is on the Rams. Joe Serpico, John in Little Rock, John Proctor, and Paul Valley on the L.A. Rams.
All right.
Indianapolis. Who knows what they're doing at quarterback? Apparently, Vegas doesn't care. They're getting 13.5 points going into Seattle. Colts at Seahawks.
I mean, this could be like the most comical game of all time. I mean, this could be the best by DVOA, one of the best defenses ever against a 44-year-old fat grandfather. I mean, like,
he's not that fat.
He's a little fat. Those of us that are a little fat know our own. The Seahawks by 1 million. This number would have to be like 17 for me to scare off from the Seahawks.
You don't believe in magic, do you?
No.
Man, I want nothing more than to Phillip Rivers start a game for Indianapolis so badly, and I really hope it's this game.
Oh, I think it's going to happen.
I hope it's this game because Seattle will kill them.
Yes.
I mean, Seattle. I mean, what are we doing?
Phillip Rivers, 6-0-1 as a double-digit underdog.
When he was a football player.
When he was a football player.
What is he now?
I don't know.
I don't know. I love. By the way,
Colts are they've won 8 games. They're getting 2 touchdowns.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I agree. Look, we're all with them. None of us knows what we weigh. Unless you are unless you're actively involved in a workout program or something related to your health that requires you asking, what do you weigh? I have no clue. When I got my colonoscopy a couple weeks ago, somebody said, what do you weigh? And I'm like,
Yeah, it's like, don't you have things there to tell me that?
Right? Like, shouldn't you have me get on a scale?
Right. Like, what do you weigh? It's like,
and I'm like, I also haven't consumed anything and have been, on a toilet for the last 24 hours. So even if I knew the number previously, I don't think that's the same number at the moment.
Yeah.
If this was in the Eastern time zone, I'd say Seahawks easily since they travel so well to the Eastern time zone. But they're at home, so I'm a little cautious here.
Okay.
Colts know they have to run the ball. They got to shorten the game. I'm going to take the Colts. This is too many points. It's a good team. I mean, they are pretty injured.
It's parts of a good team.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a lone wolf here for a while. Paul Valley got in on the Colts.
Oh, that's not the one you want.
He's not the one I want. That's not the one. He is not. I would have been really happy if I was a lone wolf here taking the Colts. Getting 13.5 points.
100%.
Paul Valley and I own Indianapolis. Sunday Night Football. Vikings going to Dallas, taking on the Cowboys. Cowboys are 6-point favorites.
I hate them because I finally came around to them and they screwed me, but I can't buy into the Vikings. Cowboys.
Vikings, too many points. Offenses looked a little better last week. Like it.
J.J. McCarthy was their quarterback.
J.J. McCarthy looked fine last week.
He played the Commanders. They might have the worst defense.
Guess what? Yeah, that's okay.
I think Washington's awful. I don't really credit Vikings for much of what they did last week, shutting out Washington, playing 2 quarterbacks, and both of them. I don't know, whatever. I don't trust the Cowboys long term here, but I will take them on Sunday night to win by a touchdown. Most of us on Dallas, KZ on Minnesota. He is joined by Jeremy Kahn and Andrew Stecca. Yeah, that's it. Just the 3 on Minnesota. Ravens at Bengals. Ravens. Line didn't move much from the opening line.
This is really infuriating.
Ravens are 2.5-point favorites in Cincinnati.
Go ahead.
There's no world where the Ravens should be 2.5-point favorites. There's no world. So I have to take them. I have no choice. I really thought this number was going to move back to like basically a pick 'em by the end of the week. And then it would be much easier for me to take the Bengals, who I think are going to win the game. But the fact that the line has stayed where it is, it's wrong. This is a bad, stinky-ass line. Ravens.
As are the Ravens, a bad, stinky-ass team.
They have a bad, stinky-ass line. You're right.
And they have a terrible line. Bengals. There's no way. I don't even remember the last time I took the Ravens to cover a game this year.
Things do just seem really, really bad in Cincinnati. Not like it's going much better here, but the Ravens have Kyle Hamilton on defense. They have Lamar Jackson on offense, and there's still a chance maybe Lamar wakes up and he is Lamar Jackson. I do think the Ravens win on Sunday. I think they have to, and they are the better team overall. There's no way they turn the ball over 5 times
I'm not
again.
sure of that.
No way they turn the ball over 5 times again. No way Isaiah Likely drops a ball at the goal line again. I'll take the Ravens. And
you don't think he's going for the trifecta?
Season stays alive. KZ, John, and Little Rock are on Cincinnati. James Revere on the Bengals. Andrew Stecca on the Bengals as well.
All right, very good. KZ.
What?
Travis Jones. We're happy. We're sad.
I mean, like he's played well. I think we're all like, what does that mean for Nnamdi Madubuike? I think we're all thinking that, and I get it. Like Travis is more of the true nose tackle. Like I understand that it's not apples to apples. I just think we'd like to know. And it's money that isn't being spent on an edge rusher. So I think like those are the trepidations that we have. But Travis Jones, just in a vacuum, did Travis Jones earn a contract? Yeah, I think he did.
Sure.
Like Travis Jones earned a contract. So
somebody asked me, I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, I mean, it's not a over the moon contract.
Nope.
It's a value contract, I guess.
Yep.
And good, but he doesn't play offensive line or get to the quarterback. So.
Need an edge rusher. But that's been no different for the last 5, 6 years, 7 years?
6, 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they should have learned that they need to go buy one and not draft one.
Maybe Trey Hendrickson looks like he'll be available. Ken Zalis.
They're not
we seeing you on Sunday?
What Sunday? What time's the game?
1:00.
Yeah, maybe my last appearance. The way they
all the primetime games coming up.
Yeah, like what are we doing?
NFL thinks they're winning on Sunday. Yeah.
All right, we'll see you. Thanks, buddy.
Okay,
love you.
See you guys.
PressBoxOnline.com/gameday. Immediately following Ravens-Bengals, come hang out with us for Project Game Day. Myself, Rita, KZ, Stecca, Griffin, former Ravens linebacker Tyus Bowser. We'll see you Sunday for Project Game Day. Come back in, get a tidbit and tubular to wrap it up. Glenn Clark Radio.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Get in the game with Volo Sports. With over 15 sports to choose from, join a league or grab a Volo membership for discounted play, free daily pickups, fitness classes, and exclusive events. But the best part? A portion of every league fee helps the Volo Kids Foundation provide free sports to over 5,000 kids across Baltimore City each year. Don't miss out. Early pricing for the winter season ends December 12th. Final registration deadline is January 15th. Sign up now at volosports.com/Baltimore.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Don Marcus profiles new Maryland Athletic Director Jim Smith, breaking down the challenge he faces in his new role and the unique background he brings to the job. Also inside, Brandon Schwartzberg takes an in-depth look at Orioles outfielder Dylan Beavers. And we meet college basketball players from all the programs around the state before the season gets underway. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region. And starting this month, you can find us at Baltimore area High's Dairy Store locations. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners, but only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
Man, this is the Steelers put out a statement. TJ Watt is currently in a local hospital for further medical evaluation of his lung after experiencing discomfort at the practice facility on Wednesday. He will not be at practice on Thursday, and his status for Monday night's game in Miami versus Miami is in question. Coach Tomlin will provide more updates at the appropriate time. Holy crap, man. I mean, you hope it's just, you hope it's nothing. Like, you hope that it's just he had said some sort of issue. But, man, like that is terrifying. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully everything's all right for TJ Watt. That's one of those things where, like, we don't like the Steelers. We want the Steelers to lose. We sure as hell want TJ Watt to be okay. Let's make that abundantly clear. All right. We have not talked about Michigan.
Why? What happened?
All's good.
What happened?
The
what
part
are they
of
upset
it,
about? They're upset about missing the playoff too. Is that
people are starting to apparently get around to this part. The part that has to be addressed, that, like, I brought this up with the Ravens and the Justin Tucker thing. Like, you really didn't know anything? Anything? Now you're Michigan. And in the last 24 hours, it went from fired to fired with cause to fired with specific cause being a relationship with a staffer to some really wild rumors that, like, the hard reporters are sort of staying away from because it's kind of tawdry and they don't really want to go there, to he's under investigation. He's been arrested for an assault allegation. All that happened yesterday? You just found out about it?
Oh, he was busy.
Yesterday? That seems unlikely. Seems almost impossible, huh? Maybe they found out about all that yesterday. But I don't think so.
What are you saying?
I don't know. There are apparently Josh Pate, who I know works with CBS, has apparently been talking about, like, there have been some. Apparently, there have been rumors about this for some time. No, you don't say. Like the football coach having a relationship with a staffer, and maybe it wasn't completely under wraps. Maybe there were other people that knew about it. I'm sure that's never happened anywhere else. And they've done everything in their power to cover it up, and that's the problem, is that, like, you can say, hey, this isn't Michigan's fault, this is Sharon Moore's fault. And, like, yeah, it is, but just really, really tough to believe that they knew nothing until yesterday afternoon. sounds like, yeah, just weird, right? Weird how that all happened all at once. Really weird. Huh. What a coincidence. There's layers to this, right? If Sharon Moore committed a crime, then like that's the most important part. Like you need to get to the bottom of that. And apparently they're still holding him as the investigation continues, which is weird. I would think that at some point you can't just keep holding someone. You have to either charge him or not. Michigan's going to need a coach. I presume it's still Michigan. It's still a very desirable job. It is interesting to me now that, like, everyone says, well, the conversation starts at Kalen DeBoer. I guess?
Starts a bit pudgy.
Is that because you're just convinced that Kalen DeBoer wants out of Alabama? Because there's no world where Michigan's a better job than Alabama. Like, Michigan's a good job, but get the F out of here.
They got Underwood.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sure Alabama could never come up with another quarterback. Alabama's definitely a better job. The only question is, does he think that people have to – I'll give you – that the tide has turned? Does he think that the Alabama supporters have turned on him because he lost to Georgia and they lost 3 games and they're probably not going to make much of a run? I mean, maybe they beat Oklahoma, maybe.
It's like a pick 'em almost, I think.
Like they might do that, but like is that because if he thinks that, then I could see him maybe wanting out of Alabama. But I would think it's more likely that he would want Michigan to want to offer him a boatload of money so that he can go back to Alabama and say, I need you to reaffirm how much you like me. And then it's just a question of, does Alabama like him that much or not? That's it. That's what it comes down to. Or do they say, it's good champs. We can have whoever we want. You go ahead. You take that job. That's the only thing I could think. There's no world where it would make sense for anyone. You could have been born on campus, gone to school there, been a Michigan fan your entire life, and it's still a better situation to be the coach at Alabama than it is to be the coach at Michigan. But
so what are you saying? You're saying Connor Stallions is the guy here?
That's the guy.
This is finally his opportunity?
Like, I think Michigan is not really that far off from Penn State, which is like, you're going to get a good coach, and it's probably a better job than Penn State. But I still think there's a limit to how good of a that made it worse. Whatever you just did made it worse. I think it was there for a second, then went away. Let's maybe just deal with that. Let's say after the show.
It's bothering
Put that
me.
On the after the show list of things to do.
Bothering me.
I don't think it's going to be John Harbaugh. I don't think that's the case.
What do you know?
I don't know anything about anything, frankly. Other than that, we're going to be at Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square on Monday night, 5198 Campbell Boulevard, in the Nottingham Square Shopping Center from 6 to 8 p.m. And we need you to come out and bring coats, clothes, anything that can help the folks at Helping Up Mission. Bring it with you, and if you make a donation, you'll get a free Chick-fil-A sandwich, and you'll meet our special guest on Monday night, Tez Walker. So come out, hang out with us at Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square on Monday night. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit and Tubular brought to you today by the print issue of Press Box. Literally last couple of days for the current print issue of Press Box before it makes way for our annual Best of issue, which hits stands next week. And you will be able to get it at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores for free. And as always, read it at PressBoxOnline.com. Tidbit.
Fernando Mendoza and Julian Sayin, they are Heisman finalists, and they met each other. They faced each other in the Big Ten Championship. 5th time that 2 Heisman finalists played each other in the conference championship game. They're the last duo of Heisman finalists to face each other in the conference championship game.
Nope, sure don't.
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. I'm going to bet it was the SEC championship.
It was not.
It was the Big Ten championship.
It was not. This conference championship does no longer exist.
Oh. 2 years ago?
Yeah.
2 years ago was Caleb Williams?
No.
No, 2 years. Oh,
I mean,
2020.
he was a Heisman finalist, but yeah, he was not in the conference championship.
Oh, right. So it would have been. Hang on a second. It would have been Michael Penix.
Yes. For Washington.
And for Oregon, it would have been. Oh, I know this. Shut up. I know this.
I didn't say anything.
For Oregon, it would have been Bo Nix, right?
It would have been Bo Nix versus Michael Penix in the Pac-12, the final Pac-12
I don't think I knew that Bo
championship.
Nix was a Heisman finalist that year.
Well, you should have.
I don't think I knew
Sean
that.
Payton knew. All right,
Yeah,
and
that's
he
true.
was confident about it. 2020, this also happened. I guess are you done on? You want to keep guessing? Or
Was that the
move on?
SEC?
That was the SEC.
So
yeah.
it was Devontae Smith.
It was Devontae Smith. Also, Mac Jones was a finalist as well. So
Oh,
Mac
okay.
Jones and Devontae Smith taking on who the heck could they have been playing in the 2020 SEC championship?
It's really hard to remember anything. As I said, nothing that happened in 2020.
They
was
were
real.
facing Florida.
Who the F was a? Who in the world?
He no longer. Wait, is he still playing quarterback? Who am I? I'm
Is
thinking,
it Kyle Trask?
It is Kyle Trask. I was about to
He
say,
was a Heisman finalist.
Yeah, in 2020 at least. Yeah.
Yikes.
2009. This also. So all 4 Heisman finalists played in their championship game in 2009. So So the Big 12 Conference Championship and the SEC Championship had Heisman finalists.
Is Sam Bradford one of them?
No.
It's Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy is Texas.
Was it in Ndamukong Suh?
It was.
Yeah.
Texas versus Nebraska in the 2009 Big 12 Championship.
I vaguely remember Texas
well done.
narrowly squeaked through on that one.
Then the SEC.
Is that Tebow?
It is.
They were playing against. That was when they still had East and West, so it had to be. Predates Manziel.
Yes, it does.
Oh man. They would have been playing Alabama.
They would have been playing Alabama.